Okay, I'm going to start us off with a little joke. What do you get when you put a baby boomer, two Gen Xers, and two Generation Alphas together for 8 hours? Well, in our case, you get two titanium knees, four hearing aids, and a day full of squeals and giggles and some very important reminders about some life lessons.
Road trip!
This little road trip was only 8 hours, but it was filled with some awesomely refreshing reminders about stuff we already know, but desperately need to remember. I'm going to share 5 key reasons, reminders, or lessons about why we need to be spending time with people in different generations. These tips, lessons, and reminders may be simple, but they are full of rich information about multi generational bonding, and it is critical that we start to pay attention to some of this. Okay, here's a quick look at the generations just so we're all on the same page. Keep in mind these years, and I won't go through them all, but these years can vary depending on country and depending on your source of information. But roughly, these are the years for each of the generations. And it makes sense to start by introducing our cast of characters for the day. So it all starts with my mom. It was her idea that we all do this, really. She just wanted to take the little ones to the Anne of Green Gables play in Prince Edward Island. So off we went. So she is my mom. You know me. I'm from my YouTube channel. And here is my brother. She is also his mom. And then these two beauties down here are his grandchildren, my great nieces, and mom's great grandchildren. Okay, let's not waste any time getting to the lessons. And lesson number one occurred fairly quickly. We were not in the car 10 minutes, and I thought I'd be funny and tell a little joke as we were passing a cemetery. My brother told a joke, they laughed, so I told my joke. Lesson number one, jokes do not always flow smoothly across the generations. You know how adults always laugh at little kids' jokes, just if nothing else, just because of the effort and just it's just fun to watch them. Yeah, well, the reverse is not always true. Kids do not always laugh at adult jokes. My joke was, as we were going by, hey girls, do you know how many people in that cemetery are dead? All of them. This is what I was expecting. But this was the response I got, followed by the question, but what's the joke part? Yep, jokes can be tons of fun, but pick them wisely. On to lesson number two. Lesson number two, never lose your ability to be creative and use your imagination. We all have this ability, but sometimes it gets a little rusty. Be more like kids. Their creativity is astounding, really. A few examples. They had two little cell phones. Now, before you get your knickers in a knot and say they're too young to have cell phones, they were broken cell phones. They were just old phones, dead phones, have no functionality, can't turn them on, nothing. But they would pretend that they were texting and looking at things. And I can't even tell you how believable it was. I kept having to, I was in the back seat with them. So they were having great conversations and giggling and laughing and telling big stories. I actually had to look myself a couple times at those phones to make sure they weren't real and that they weren't actually seeing things on the screens. No, they use their creativity to completely entertain themselves and us, I might add. So we all have the ability to be creative. We sometimes forget about it and sometimes forget how to do it. So tap into your inner child, use your imagination wherever you can. Another story or another example of their creativity is, we all play car games or traveling games with our kids or grandkids, or whoever may be traveling with you. You name 3 words and you have to make up a story with those 3 words, or there's all kinds of games. Anyway, that was one that we did. These stories were fascinating. And so we all took turns, adults too. And it was a great opportunity to try and be creative if that's not a normal thing that you do. Here's a little glimpse from one of our conversations about the kids being in French immersion. Oh, all right. You are both en français.
Yep.
Est-ce que tu parles de français?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Well, it's time to get back to school then, I'd say. Okay, let's.
Yeah.
And this takes us right into lesson number 3 or key reminder number 3, laugh more. We all know that laughter is good for the heart, good for the soul, good for our health. And kids just have a built in ability to laugh and find joy in the smallest of things. Do you know that research shows that kids laugh 300 times a day? Yeah, well, you know how often us serious older adults laugh? 17 times a day. 17 times a day. Like, how sad is that? Here's a hot tip though: practice your joke telling skills before you try to make someone laugh. Next tip or lesson learned, and this is a huge one, it is about confidence. And I'm talking about both sides of confidence. Be confident in yourself because that helps you, most importantly, build confidence in others, especially littles. Dance like nobody's watching, have fun, be confident in yourself. But also, as the older generation, it is our responsibility to build the confidence of these kids. It is tough out there. It's easy for us to sit back and talk about everything going wrong and what the younger generation is doing. It is our responsibility, from my perspective, it is our responsibility to build these kids up and build their confidence and not break them down. Now, I'm not talking about giving compliments at every step of the stage and not letting them learn some lessons along the way. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when they're feeling a little bit of self doubt, do whatever you can to build their confidence. Not by saying, come on, you can do it, but to really tap into what they need to hear from us. We are supposed to be wiser. We're supposed to be more generous. We're supposed to be guides and teachers for these younger generations. Take your responsibility seriously. Okay, here's lesson number 5, or reminder number 5, or tip number 5 about what to remember across the generations. Be curious. I know this is one that can drive young parents crazy because their kids are always saying, why, why? We so easily lose our sense of curiosity and instead approach situations from a perspective of being skeptical or critical, whatever the case may be. Tap into your sense of curiosity. There were so many examples of this that we had throughout the day, which again, just such great reminders about why curiosity is so important. It opens your mind, it teaches you lessons, it helps the other person because you need to think broadly. You need to be answering those questions that are coming from curiosity. And as adults, as I said, we need to be reminded to approach things from a perspective of curiosity. Oh, there were lots of questions. This video came about because of many, many questions from these girls about YouTube. Before we left the house, the girl's grandfather decided to tell them that their Aunt Angie had a YouTube channel and to show them one of the videos. Well, that led to a flurry of questions.
And he's on YouTube? Yeah?
It's the most boring topic in the world, but she rocks it.
Who filmed you?
Who what?
Who filmed you?
I filmed myself. That's why I always have my selfie stick. Okay, maybe not that impressive. However, the questions continued throughout the day. Well, can we make a YouTube video? Why can't we use this for your YouTube channel? Well, why can't kids be on your YouTube channel? Well, can't you make a new YouTube channel? Maybe you can make one just for kids. A gazillion questions, but all not from a place of being judgmental, not from being criticized, not from being critical, not from being skeptical. It was pure, innocent, enlightening curiosity. It is pretty easy to look across generations in both directions, look at an older generation or look at a younger generation through the lens of skepticism, judgment, frustration, confusion. We're all guilty of it. I'm totally guilty of it. And I think that's why this was such a great reminder for me. I would just challenge you to change that lens of skepticism, judgment, confusion, frustration, disappointment, discouragement to a lens of curiosity. One of our most common complaints about the younger generation is how much time they're on the internet and how much time they're on their phones. Well, we have a little bit of responsibility for that because the older generations kind of started all of this. Let me introduce you to a couple of guys. Martin Cooper, he was the inventor of the first mobile phone, and he was from the silent generation. He was born in 1928. And who invented the internet? A baby boomer. Tim Berners-Lee was born in 1955. So I'm not criticizing the inventions. These people have changed the world in in incredible ways. Like, where would we be really without mobile phones and the internet? It is such a huge resource for us now, and and quite frankly, probably couldn't function without them at this point, at this stage in the game. What I'm saying is, there's some shared responsibilities from where we were and the inventions that were made for where we are now and where we're going in the future. So, we may complain about this generation and future generations, but we also have some responsibility for them. Take the time, make the effort to hang out with other generations. It will give you a wonderful opportunity to be both student and teacher, depending on the situation. Lessons learned in both directions, and it is good for all of us. Okay, Grass, how was your day?
Oh, it was awesome.
How's the energy level?
The energy level is mine or theirs?
Yours.
Okay, mine is pretty well gone. Yeah. Yeah.
And Gigi, how was your day?
My day was wonderful.
And how's your energy level?
My energy level's getting pretty low.
Daddy would like something like this.
The play, and then what did Gigi do with you guys?
We got our hats,
Which are amazing.
which are our hats.
Yeah.
These are our hats.
Okay, here we are after a day of Anna Green Gables, and it's Angela LeBlanc checking in from Lead Your Living. It was a great day. And yes, girls, you were right. We can make a YouTube video out of the day.
Signing off for now. Bye bye. My
channel's called Lead Your Living. I am seriously thinking it may be time to change my title to Lead Your Living Across the Generations. Thanks for watching.